Welcome to Enhancing Vocabulary Development at Churchill High School. The professional development presented today will consist of 3 separate sections: an opening, the main learning event, and a closing. Refreshments are available in the back of the auditorium, and you are welcome to excuse yourself as needed throughout the presentation. As part of our school improvement plan, we have set a goal of 100% student proficiency in reading. As of 2011, Churchill's juniors had a 75% proficiency rate in reading. Closer inspection of student data revealed that certain subgroup populations are disproportionately struggling to obtain proficiency in reading and math. These include students with disabilities, students of low socioeconomic status, and African American students. Our findings further suggest that limited vocabulary development is likely a major factor hampering students' ability to demonstrate proficiency. As an example, on the 2011 ACT English and Reading subtests, both of which are heavily dependent on language and vocabulary development, African Americans demonstrated proficiency rates of only 25.6% and 12.8% respectively. Before going any further, it is important to address some key points on the topic of vocabulary development and determine the group's knowledge base. True or false? The relationship between one's vocabulary development and reading comprehension weakens as students age. That would be false. The relationship between one's vocabulary development and reading comprehension actually strengthens with age. True or false? High-knowledge 3rd graders have vocabularies about equal to lowest performing 12th graders. That would be true. True or false? High school seniors near the top of their class know about 4 times as many words as their lower-performing classmates. True. True or false? Having teachers introduce words at the beginning of the week and telling students that they are responsible for learning their meanings is an effective teaching method. False. In order for vocabulary instruction to be effective, students need to have numerous opportunities to use words and to receive feedback about how well they are doing in their word usage. Finally, true or false? Reading failure in older adolescents is a failure that is too late to overcome. False. Reading intervention that takes into account a developmental approach to understanding reading difficulties, that immediately identifies strengths and needs, provides materials that are age-appropriate, remediates problems in word identification, and focuses on vocabulary development, comprehension and study skills have proven successful in remediating significant reading deficits in this population. The next portion of our presentation will highlight just such a program, the Reading is Fame program, a developmental reading program developed through the Reading Center at Boys Town in 1992. The program is intended for middle and high school students. Since 1996, approximately 5,000 teachers in 560 schools in 18 states have received training and are using the program. For our purposes today, we will focus on the vocabulary development with the goal of implementing its strategies at Churchill High School. The remainder of the Reading is Fame program, including word decoding, fluency, comprehension, and study skills, will be presented to our B-level language arts instructors, paraprofessionals, and special education providers during professional development opportunities during the current school year. Vocabulary is defined as the words individuals understand and use to communicate effectively. I think that one of the greatest tools we can give our students for succeeding is a rich vocabulary and the skills for using those words. Encouraging the use of context to increase vocabulary is essentially asking the student to use one weakness to work on another weakness. More specifically, weak vocabularies cause our students' comprehension to suffer, and difficulties in comprehension cause their vocabularies to remain poor. In order to make an impact on student comprehension, our students will need to learn a new set of 10 words per week, per semester. I see there is a question. Yes, Dr. S. For those of you who could not hear the question, she asked what is direct instruction, And how can we use it in our classrooms to teach word meanings? That is an excellent question. Direct instruction in vocabulary is critical for our students at Churchill. Direct vocabulary instruction occurs when a teacher systematically demonstrates how to determine the meanings of words by utilizing contextual and conceptual clues. We suggest that at the beginning of each week, you write each word on the overhead, accompanied by its definition. Allow the students to copy this information onto index cards. Once they become familiar with the words of the week, you will then lead a discussion about their meanings. The purpose of your discussion is to gain clarification of what the students already know and what information is new to them. Following the discussion, you will ask the students to provide sentences in which the words can be used, and encourage them to say how the words' meaning are similar and different from other related words. However, as educators, we need to emphasize the importance of providing students with multiple, meaningful encounters with word meanings. I see there is a question. Yes, Veronica? For those of you who could not hear the question, she asked, what do you think are the most effective ways to teach secondary students to learn new word meanings? That is a brilliant question, Veronica. I appreciate you staying involved in our discussion. Encouraging secondary students to learn word meanings by looking them up in a dictionary or glossary is not effective. Each new word receives at least 10 to 15 exposures during the week, and are included in discussions, games, writing activities, and reading. An especially beneficial activity that can be used in your classrooms is the yes, no, why activity. Here, 10 words are paired up to form questions, and students are asked to answer each question, as well as to provide a reason for their answer. There are no right or wrong answers, and this allows you as the teacher to provide a model for the students of how to give support for their answers. Games are still another way in which you can provide students with opportunities to use their words. Taboo is an excellent word-guessing game. The objective is for a student player to have his partner guess the word on his card, without using the word itself, or 5 additional words listed on the card. It's a fun activity that will keep your students actively engaged in the lesson. To be most effective, vocabulary learning must occur in context. I see there is a question. Yes, Barry? For those of you who could not hear the question, he said, since we begin with a set of isolated words, we know that we need to provide students with opportunities to use them in a variety of contexts and to receive feedback about their success. How do we accomplish this task? What an excellent question. I can tell you've been paying attention. This can be done with the close, or fill in the blank, sentences. Students are told to use each word only once in the activity. However, with teacher modeling and small group discussion, students are able to figure out the best way to fill in the blanks. Please see the fill-in sentence activity that we handed out at the beginning of the presentation, as an example. In addition to the sentence close task, you can utilize the paragraph close activity. Specifically, you would first read the whole paragraph, showing students how to get an overall sense of the topic. Then, using a think aloud procedure, you would work through the blanks, pointing out the context clues that help narrow down the possible choices. Over the course of a few weeks, the whole class works through the paragraph fill-in exercise together, with you acting as a mentor. Students will then work in small groups, following the same process. Finally, students complete the activity on their own, and class time is used for discussion and debating choices. Students also benefit from the read and respond method. In this activity, students read several short articles, which lend themselves to application of the words, meanings and concepts that the students are learning. You would then write questions that incorporate the vocabulary words and provide these to accompany each article. Before students read the text, you choose the questions that you want the students to answer. Lastly, we want to discuss one of the primary ways in which students are encouraged to process word meanings. I see there is a question. Yes, Heba? For those of you who could not hear the question, she said is the best way by implementing writing activities. Heba, you were exactly right. Each week, you would assign at least one topic for students to write about, using at least 5 of the vocabulary words, along with any words from previous weeks that can be incorporated. In addition, you can assign position papers, which force the student to take a stand on an idea that was presented in a text, or creative writing papers, which allows students to express themselves through the means of a well-crafted story. Earlier we discussed the success of using games to provide opportunities for students to use their words in active and generative ways. However, you can design your own games as well. Recently, I was made aware of the conversation game, which is quickly becoming a favorite among the students. In this activity, students use words provided on an index card to participate in a conversation which is initiated by the teacher. Finally, you can utilize the word-watching technique, in which each student is responsible for completing their daily word-watching, and choosing the words they will learn, according to their needs. Students can then earn points by citing their vocabulary words in their everyday lives, as well as for using their words in their writing and speaking. I hope that these instructional activities I discussed will assist you in promoting vocabulary learning in your classrooms. Success with these activities, however, depends upon the introduction and activation of word meanings, the ability to provide multiple opportunities to learn and expand on meanings, presenting words in a variety of contexts, and promoting active and generative processing. As we bring this professional development to an end, I would like to do one closing activity with you. The focus of our professional development has been enhancing vocabulary. Now let's recap what we have learned about vocabulary and apply it to a crossword puzzle. I will read each crossword clue aloud and give you an opportunity to fill in your answer in the crossword puzzle that was handed out to you. I will also call on one person to tell the rest of the professional development group what the correct answer is. Are we ready? Here we go. To across, the act or process of developing. Dr. S, you have the answer? Development, that is correct. For across, spoken or written with ease. Barry, you have your hand raised? Fluency, great job Barry. 5 across, process of organizing and taking in new information. Retaining information. John, go ahead with your answer. Study skills is the correct answer. 6 across, breaking up a word into understandable parts. Anyone? Dr. S again. Close Dr. S, we were looking for word decoding, not just decoding. 7 across, a list or collection of words or phrases of a language. Courtney, you have the answer? Correct, vocabulary. 8 across, capacity of the mind to perceive or understand. Anyone but Dr. S, please. Heba, you have your hand raised. Yes, comprehension is correct. 1 down, program developed by Reading Center at Boys Town in 1992. Veronica, do you recall? Correct, the Reading is Fame program. Last question. 3 down, a plan or method for obtaining a specific goal. Okay. Dr. S, you can have the last question. Very good, the answer is strategies. Okay, we have completed our crossword puzzle outlining the words relevant to enhancing vocabulary at Churchill High School in our B-level classes. Thank you for all your participation in our professional development. I encourage each of you to implement 1 or more vocabulary strategies between now and our next PD day. At our next PD day, please be prepared to share how the implementation of specific strategies went. Thanks again and have a good night.